All right, so this is question 4-34. It says in chapter 1, you found a multiplicative or proportional relationship between the height of a stack of pennies and the number of pennies in the stack. So this is where we had the pennies and the rulers. Hopefully you remember that. That is, you could always find one piece of information by multiplying the other by the constant number. So copy the table to the right with your team to fill in the missing values. What strategies you use to determine the missing parts? So you're going to copy this down your paper, and you should have already done this because you're supposed to do the work first, then watch the video. And then you were supposed to fill this in. So let's see, what can we do? I want to find out about 1 centimeter of pennies. So I guess here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by 4. And that means I also have to divide this by 4. So let's see, 4 divided by 4 gives me 1 centimeter, and then 28 divided by 4 is 7. So I know that 1 centimeter of pennies is going to be exactly 7 pennies. All right, let's see. Now I need to find out about 15 pennies. So let's see, what could I do? I think I can multiply this by 15 to get 15. So I got to multiply this by 15. So let's see, 15 by 7, it's going to be 35, 105. So that would be 105. So if I want to make a tower of pennies that is 15 centimeters high, it should take me 105 pennies. Well, this wants to know if I have 63 pennies, how many centimeters would that be? So let's see, how can I think about this? Can I somehow turn 7 into 63? And then maybe that would help me with this. So let's see. 7 times 9 is 63. So that means I should be able to multiply this by 9. Whatever I do to the number of pennies, I do the same thing to the centimeters. So this would be a 9 centimeter tower. It would take 63 pennies. All right, I think that works. Let's see, what do I want now? 3 centimeter tower, how many would that be? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and multiply it by 3. So it gives me 3. If I multiply this by 3, I have to multiply that by 3. So that should be 21 pennies. And if I have 12 centimeters, how many pennies would that be? Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to use this. We could multiply these by 12 if we want, but I'm just going to take this number and multiply it by 4 because that would give me 12. So I multiply this by 4. So 21 by 4 is going to be 84 pennies. There's other ways that maybe you decide to fill it out, but that's kind of how I filled it out. All right, part B. How many pennies are in a tower with 0 centimeters? Well, if it's 0 centimeters tall, I think that's going to take me 0 pennies. So it says add this row to your table. All right, so 0 centimeters tall is going to have 0 pennies in it. All right, so add that to my table. Now you are going to need to go ahead and graph this data. If you don't have graph paper at home, that's fine. If you're going to graph this though, make sure that this goes on your x-axis and this goes on your y-axis. And what I'm going to tell you is that this should, when you graph this, you should get a nice straight line. It should start at 0, 0, go through these points, and you should get a nice straight line when you do that. What do you notice about the graph of height and number of pennies? How does the graph compare to Sonia's graph of bird seeds? So the bird seeds is what we did yesterday, or actually on Friday. And we noticed that Sonia's bird seed was start at 0, 0, and it also was a straight line. So these, when I graph this, here's what you need to take out of it. It starts at 0, 0, because if I have 0 centimeters, I would have 0 pennies. And then when you graph this information, you'll notice you should have a nice straight line. And you're going to need to graph this on your paper, but it should look something like this. Starts at 0, 0, then depends on your axes, but it should just be a nice straight line. Okay, depending on how you draw or you use for your scale, it might not go straight up from there. Maybe it's more like this, but this should be a straight line when you do it. So hopefully that helps you with question 34.